Yes, light. That works better. Because that strike really used to do what it started, I think. Because now we've been building those numbers, and then now we're starting with the vault ciphers, and that's what initially built like radio numbers. Yes. So exactly. So we need more of those. Even on TikTok, it's doing well. What? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Every time we do something, yeah, we'll do it from there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The name of the song is what again? What's the name of the song again? What's the name of the song again? I know it's LL Cool J Method Man. Ooh, the last time I heard that song, LL Cool J, Method Man, Redman, just okay, having a brain fart remembering the name of the song. But I love when it starts at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We blaze to high heaven. Hey, now you know. We're all about that hip hop vibe today. So I'm already getting into the mood. Look, I've just been shocked by that one. So I'm like, yes! I can't wait for my brothers to come in. That's Jirongi, Jimmy the Beat Maker, and of course DJ Mal G. We'll be checking in later on for the vaults. Ah, man, it's always going to be vibes on vibes on vibes. So definitely looking forward to that. And that's something you should be looking forward to as well. That's between 10 and 12 noon. Of course, we have special guests in studio. And you know what? The Vault Cyphers are back. So it's going to be massive, massive, massive vibes in studio, which you can't afford to miss out on. In the meantime, let's take a look at the news making the headlines this morning. Of course, Shakahola is always trending. Still the topic that carries the day as the death toll hits 98, as 8 more bodies of children have been exhumed. Now, 8 more bodies were found in Shakahola village in Kilifi County on Wednesday, bringing the total number of those exhumed since Friday, April 21st, to 95. Coast Region Coordinator Rhoda Onyancha confirmed that 8 more bodies of children were exhumed near cult leader Paul Mackenzie's homestead in the forest. On Wednesday morning, police barred members of the press from going into the Shakahola forest. The 800-acre land is allegedly owned by the cult leader Paul Mackenzie, who has been urging his followers to fast to death with the promise that they will meet Jesus. And on Tuesday, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki indicated that what happened at Mackenzie's church was the tip of the iceberg. He said the government admits this should not have happened. We have been opened to a formal inquiry, or rather we have opened a formal inquiry on another religious organization based in Kilifi County. We are getting leads that perhaps that was being done at Mackenzie's was just the tip of the iceberg. The net has been cast wider. All other associates and collaborators of Mackenzie's evil. It's a continuing story, it's a developing story, and it seems that they are going into the hundreds right now of people who are either dead or missing. It's absolutely horrific to continue just watching it unfold. And of course, we're just waiting to see how this kind of unfolds, and there's more news on that as DPP makes first breakthrough in Pastor Mackenzie's case and goes after cars. Now, the DPP Norden Haji Magistrate Ivy Wasike issued the orders while approving a search warrant valid for a period of 10 days. In particular, the magistrate ordered detectives from the Directorate of Investigations to access and seize title deeds, documents, motor vehicles, access bank details, and other items linked to the charges leveled against the pastor. She further directed lead investigating officer Joseph Yato to conduct the search warrant in the presence of Mackenzie's lawyers or their authorized agents. The search of the premises will be conducted during daytime, the magistrate directed. While concluding her judgment, she warned that anyone served with the order and contravened the same would be charged with contempt and would be liable for imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months or both. Now, just know that this news has gone worldwide. Like, everybody literally is talking about it. I'm even seeing bloggers from, America, China, Japan, all just having the story as their breaking news everywhere across the world. Because I think since cases of Waco, Jim Jones massacre, all of it has just compounded to this one, and I'm sure 100% this will make the history books as it continues to unravel. It's absolutely sad. Now Dwale seems to be impassioned, gives an impassioned rant and scolds Uhuru castigating police at Jubilee headquarters. The Defense Cabinet Secretary Aden Dwale on Wednesday, April 26, castigated former President Uhuru Kenyatta for personally visiting Jubilee headquarters. The CS remarked that the action of his former boss aimed at preventing Jubilee Party from joining Kenya Kwanza was beneath the stature of a former president. He further revealed that Uhuru's action prevented police officers from carrying out their mandate in dispersing rowdy crowds at the headquarters. The CS noted that it is bad to see a former president who, after having served 2 full terms, reduce his stature by fighting over a shell of a party that presided over misrule, wanton looting of public coffers, and extrajudicial killings during the infamous rogue handshake regime. Dwale therefore advised Uhuru to take a back seat and let parliamentarians decide the future of the party. He said the once behemoth of the party, with a near supermajority of 174 lawmakers, is now having a paltry number who have since shifted their allegiance. Uru should rather cease muddying his image by trying to resuscitate a dead party and leave the tussle to elected MPs. Furthermore, the CS regretted that the former commander-in-chief of the armed forces was preventing police officers from carrying out their mandate. National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, on the other hand, warned residents of Kileleshwa, where the Jubilee Party is headquartered, to brace for more chaos, noting that the party leadership did not care about the neighborhood. Woof! Now, listen, of course, a party cannot carry on without people in it. So, of course, he's going to fight for his people. And I'm sure he has PTSD after what happened to his property. As in, can you blame the man? I'm sure you can't. He's gone through a lot in the past couple of months. So, of course, his alarms are on, things are going off, and he's not exactly happy with whatever is going on within his party. So, if he wants to save it, let the man do it. It's all right. Now, if you've been along the highways of Nairobi, like yesterday, I'm extremely exhausted, and like between Nairobi and Naivasha, I think it's about a couple of hours, but going and coming back is exhausting. But the one thing I noted was that the roads are now brandished with new signs and extracting drivers on what to do. Nice bright yellow signs, and I applaud this 100%. Now, EPRA announces fresh highway inspections countrywide. Now, the Energy Petroleum Regulatory Authority EPRA Director General Daniel Kiptoo on Wednesday, April 26, announced the introduction of fuel tankers inspection along highways countrywide. According to the DG, the move is aimed at enhancing safety in petroleum road transportation. He stated that we want to implement these changes to ease your operations at work. We are looking at engaging more stakeholders in the future. The DG spoke during the release of the Petroleum Institute of East Africa first quarter 2023 State of the Petroleum Industry report, where he was joined by other leaders including Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir. He further emphasized that EPRA was firm on apprehending all Kenyans who are not complying with the regulations. Kiptoo disclosed that during the ongoing crackdown on unauthorized liquefied petroleum gas outlets, 19 sites had been closed. According to the DG, the LPG compliance monitoring program had been successful, with compliance standing at 99%. Kiptoo also announced plans to renew the licenses of stakeholders in the industry on a biannual or 3-year basis and shift from the current annual renewal. Meanwhile, in the biannual report, EPRA noted that several efforts had been made to monitor the quality of fuel designated for local consumption and for export. In attendance was Energy CS Davis Chirchir, who announced that in the next 5 to 6 days, Kenyans will start buying fuel that's shipped into Kenya. He noted that the government will see that Kenyans buy fuel in shillings, adding that about 35% of the dollars will be saved. All right. We're definitely hoping that is good news for Kenya, and of course, we're hoping that it just improves everything that's happening on the roads, because the state of the roads have been absolutely horrific in the past few months. It could be attributed to a lot, but of course, one good step towards making sure people have good fuel is one way of improving things on our current roads. Now, lastly, we leave off with heartbreak for poor as Ruto walks back on NHIF rules. Now, the national government will not match contributions to NHIF for low-income earners. This was revealed by President William Ruto April 24th, 8 months after he announced the restructuring NHIF that would see contributions pegged on incomes in September last year. Now, it was stated that contributions to NHIF will now be graduated and will depend on people's income. Dr. Ruto said while on the campaign trail in Kirinyaga County as he pledged to lower minimum NHIF contributions from 500 to 300 and offer waivers to poor households unable to pay the monthly rates to ensure the country achieves its universal health care goals. Yesterday, while launching the Cyber Knife Center at Kenyatta University Teaching Referral and Research Hospital, President Ruto said the government was working contributions. We shall be presenting new regulations to Parliament by May 15th after a final meeting which we will have on May 11th. Failure is not an option this time around. He continued to say, we have looked at the regulations that were challenged in court by our partners, and now we want to fast track delivery of universal health coverage. Now, Dr. Ruto lauded the KUTRRH for its commitment in fighting against cancer, as well as releasing accessible and affordable quality health care. Yeah, we are seeing a lot of backtracking this year from a lot of the campaign promises that were made. Just the other day, like I told you, we saw Governor Sakaja backtracking 500% on his pledge not to build a house or take any allowances for cars. But here we are, 500 million and 88 million for cars respectively. Later, to see that he isn't actually in fact deciding to go ahead with that. Now here is another one with NHIF, and of course a lot of people will be affected by this because NHIF of course helps a lot of people when it comes to healthcare and quality healthcare at that. So we'll wait to hear about the new regulations that he's putting in place, and hopefully it will just help to improve the lives of Kenyans in one way or another. Like he said, failure is not an option. All right, guys, that has been the news breakdown this morning. We get into our adulting Thursdays as we get into conversations that affect you as an adult as you go about your life in this Kenya of ours. We're going to go into the Kenyan hour as well. Stand by for music from that. Of course, we show love for the 254, and at 9 a.m. we have a special guest coming in, and stand by for that as well. Let's get straight into the music. Later on, remember, we'll be taking in your requests on plus 254 788 380030 on the YouTube channel right there. So start sending them in. My lines are open. Let's get into the music on the Breakfast Jam. track came out, just the instrumentals. Of course, he had the old chain going on, but just the instrumentals and the way he flowed on the beat was so dope. It took over the music scene so hard. So whether you're hating on him or not, you would definitely be flowing to that track. Also, you can't forget what was Shimjanja. Like, he, for real, like, instrumental wise, like coming up with those beats, he was actually really good. I'll give props to the man. Again, I may not like him, but I'll give props to him nonetheless because he actually did, quite a bit in that particular space. Now, let's take a look quickly before we usher in our guest at some of the entertainment news making the headlines this morning. So yes, a lot is just going on and around Oga Obina. And of course, when he came out, it came out, or not, it came out. Okay, those are the wrong ones. What am I saying? So what I'm saying, what happened was, so what I'm saying is that Johnny the hairdresser, yeah, came out a few days ago and was like, "Listen, I'm sorry." That was just in bad taste. I don't even know the guy. Like, the backtracking season has started, okay? So he backtracked again. Like, now he backtracked 1,000 times because apparently he's not even met the man. He don't even know who Ogaobina is. He's just throwing out a name for the sake of throwing out a name. He was doing it for the sake of just being controversial. And let me tell you, when you're messing up with somebody's livelihood, okay, because that's what scandals do. You mess with their image, you mess with their livelihood. Even if you take back, yeah, there are those people who look at it and they're like, it could be true. So even leaving that seed of doubt in itself is damaging, okay? And like I said before, like for somebody who might be, or because I haven't heard him declare, in fact, it's the first time I'm hearing about him, but for somebody who might be of the community, to out anyone in any manner is one of the worst things you could ever do to a person. And that's what he, in all actual fact, again, if it was true, did. So there was a lot of messed up things that was happening with this particular story between him and Dennis Karuri that should never have aired without any single grain of proof. It should never have gone up. And that is the difference between journalism and blogging. Okay, very big difference. And people should be able to tell the difference now. What these guys sometimes do is just being a podcast and they're just putting out stuff for the sake of putting out stuff, no due diligence whatsoever. And again, it ruins the lives of people. Okay, so in this particular case, it just didn't go down very well for Ogobina, and of course, he demanded an apology. And an apology is what he got. Again, I'm just like, listen, giving credibility to these guys is usually, I mean, to people, it's usually hard when such stories come up. Like, for real, okay. Somebody could be out there again trying to tell their story because they have been treated one way or another. Then here comes a guy who's just telling falsehoods, especially for somebody who he's never met. I'm sorry, young people, stop with the shenanigans, okay? It can land you in a lot of trouble, and this career you're trying to build could end in an instant. You could end up bankrupt just because of a court case, yeah, and you don't see the repercussions of this. Stop with the shenanigans. The other thing is that he came out with a full face of makeup. I love it. He came with his apologies and he was talking well, smacking his lips. Yeah, like, yeah, I would like to apologize to Olga Obina for everything that happened. And I loved watching it because he was so dramatic in his apology. But of course, this should be a heavy, heavy lesson for him. Never, ever try such stunts again. Again, you can end up bankrupted for years because you're continually, whenever you're getting an income, it's going towards paying for a court case that you should never been involved in because you ain't running your mouth. Iwe Funzo. Other people who have really upset me is what's his face? Willie Paul and Miss, what's, she has an acronym, is it Miss A, Miss D, Miss, or Miss P? Yes, and Miss P. It's ridiculous how you can get, first of all, a lot of people into an emotional roller coaster telling such a story, yeah, and then end up pulling publicity stunts that y'all are together. It's disgusting. It's not only ridiculous, it's disgusting, especially for the woman in the situation, Miss P. It is ridiculous how you as a woman who lives in this world where women are still being treated like second-class citizens, where they still have to fight for them to be heard, for them to be believed, that you pull off such a story and then say, oh, I was just being angry, I was just being in my feelings and it wasn't true, and therefore I am dating the guy who's supposedly my abuser. Can't stand it. Blocking, removing off of the face of my social media. I am not here for these stories whatsoever. Shame on her, shame on the both of them. It's an absolute shame, and I hope they'll never be able to live this up. Whatever publicity stunt they are trying to do, that it never, ever, ever succeeds. Ever. Now, in other news, Olga Obina has officially parted ways with Kiss FM after 1 year. And the question is, was he fired or did he leave in his own terms? Now, media personality and comedian Olga Obina has left Kiss FM after 1 year. In an exclusive interview with Mpasho's Kalondu Musimi, Obina disclosed that his contract with Radio Africa Group has ended and both parties have opted to end their relationship amicably. He also mentioned that his last day at the station was Monday last week. The comedian turned presenter expressed gratitude to Radio Africa for giving him a chance to work with them over the past 1 year. He says, I'm no longer at KISS. I have finished my contract with the experience and this experience has been beautiful, and I have achieved my dream and did everything I wanted to do, and everything I do from now henceforth will be extra. He's achieved everything in 1 year. That's really dope. Now, he goes on to say, if it's a job or a car, I'll be extra. I have driven that car I wanted to drive, apart from the Range Rover Sport, lived in the houses I wanted, and worked in the organization I always wanted. I have achieved what I wanted to do, and now we move. During the interview, Obina disclosed that he was doing his clearance at Radio Africa Group before officially exiting the company. He says, I have tried being on KISS since 2013, and guess what? 2022 happened, and I got the breakfast show on KISS FM. The funny man went on to narrate his experience at KISS FM. He says, I have learned that when an organization cares about its people and talent, they thrive more. I have worked in organizations where they really don't care about their employees, but here I was myself, dressed the way I want and doing my thing. I know the reason as to why I have left, so let those who want to speculate do it. It's their job. It's good vibes all around it, and people should not feel bad about it or anything. It's been a nice run, and maybe I might come back, or maybe I will not. Time will tell. Obina said that statement is a bit veiled. Yeah, it kind of like sounds like he was indeed let go, but he's trying to put the flowery part around it. And of course, because probably he wants to come back. Because after 1 year, one does not just leave. Now, this part where he's like, you know, I know the reasons why I've left. So you just said Duku, the contract ended. So what are the other reasons? So there could be other reasons as to why he's no longer there. But of course, saving face is very important. Now, the radio personality replaced Jalango on Kiss FM after he exited the radio industry for politics in February last year. And if you remember, um, it was a whole competition. The thing was a whole competition before they landed on Oga Obina. There were a lot of guys who came in and tried to interview for that position, and finally they landed with him. But a 1 year contract. Okay, yes, 1 year contract, very feasible, but they didn't renew it. He didn't want to renew it. There's something in the water. So of course, I would like to hear your opinions. Be sure to hit me up on +254 788 380030 and let me know your thoughts on this. Let's get back into the music as we finish off this Kenyan hour and come back with the last bit of entertainment news this morning. Can you send me the link? And then I'm unable to see WhatsApp. Yeah, so if you see messages over there, please let me know. Who send me the link? Yeah. Sawa. Sawa. Oh, did he? Well, it's nice if he's doing it. You know, he's like actually putting action to. Yes, we were even supposed to interview you, Sandra. There are issues with they're having issues. I don't know what kind of it is. I think with their accommodation or there's something not right. So like even though there was supposed to be also a press conference this morning, didn't happen. But we're streaming live from the event. It's we're the media partner this Sunday for the event. So do you have the clip on that? She did. And Rukibe put a clip of her kind of like talking about it. I think on his channel. I saw, but I couldn't. You know, I was in a meeting. I couldn't really listen to it. Hmm? That's if Nani will get into it. Sandra sometimes can be biased with her people. She can decide not to ask those questions. But I think we'll leave Benzol for Sandra. Sorry? Okay. Him being arrested in Kisumu. Okay. Okay. She was also arrested. Yeah, he was also arrested. Camila did which song again? Camila did which song? He did which song? Oh. Ah, Señorita. Well, I'll talk about the event. By then, I need to talk about the event. Yeah. I even need to make the posters. Huh? What's that? Uh, which song? Uh, it's good. Oh. Ah. Sorry? What? After this song. So in game with which one? No, which news? Which one? Peter Andre. Oh, we'll finish with Peter Andre. Yeah. Peter Andre, then you download the song. The song is called what? Mysterious Girl. Yeah, so we'll segue to the next hour of that. So Eric Omondi, huh? Ibinifat kama blaze kama sukuma wiki na mayonnaise kama Lydia Bura na Victor wakiingia kwa gari pamoja hey hey but anyway ini ya wake NYA na wale wa Kenya wako California kana wakisikia hii na hey hey si afadhali tumetoka mbali tafadhali pasta kabasi watu wakitike wanati nataka party kama leo ni birthday ama nianze when seems sinaona mpaka huko Mandaya kuoza kale the time they came together here, Bensol and his Chile, she would not let him work. She was just over here the entire time, just sitting on his face. She would not let him work. Huh? Hi, how are you? Hi. Karibu sana. So we're just finishing up with the last bit of the news. So you can just sit on the other side and relax. And then we'll call you. Don't even worry about it. Yeah. We were starting at 9 exactly. All right. on his channel. Yeah. But it's okay. Let's leave it for now. Literally, the lyrics for that song. When you get to listen to it, Missouri, it's when you hear all the nastiest things. They're so graphic with their content. It's like talking about people, you know, doing some unnatural things that people usually do. And it just sounds so weird, especially in Swab. Anyway, that was K-South Flavor with Kapuka playing, of course, massive, massive Kenyan tunes for your morning. Now, speaking of being Kenyan, hey, let me tell you, sometimes just like I tell you, it's an extreme sport. And Eric Omondi is one person who just puts a lot of theatrics to being a Kenyan. Literally, I'm looking at a clip where guys are on the floor with their mattresses. Now, he staged a protest against high cost of living in Kisumu, and he was very theatric about it. Of course, protests in Kisumu are usually, held with a lot of seriousness. Okay, we people take the mandamano very seriously. I think it was a little bit more, chilled out. Use the word chilled out here in Nairobi. And then, of course, when he goes to Kisumu, hey, man, the theatrics or something else. Literally, again, I'm telling you, guys were on the floor with mattresses, okay? And he managed to have this happen. And, of course, as is the order of the day, he was um, arrested. And I think we have a clip on this. Let's check it out. Si walijitolea hizo vitu wewe wingia. Yeah. Again, it's Eric Omondi being Eric Omondi, mattresses on the floor, everything. But of course, what he's talking about is very valid. The high cost of living, something that everybody, I think, across the world is reeling about. Is guy, yeah. Even my mic was over here going on me. Just hit me in the mouth. But yes, the high cost of living is something that everybody is grappling with. Everybody's trying to get their heads around to try to make something better for themselves, and it has been a major problem. So of course we give credit to whatever he is indeed addressing. The only issue is, again, for me, is the theatrics. The theatrics are a lot for me, but it's just me. It's just my opinion. It's just my thoughts. Every time I'm told, let's talk about Eric Omani, I'm like, okay, if we have to, because the theatrics can be too much for me. But I will give credit to him for putting his money, his mouth where his money is, or his money where his mouth is, because my producer's even telling me a story about how he was on the expressway, somebody got stuck, and he actually took the time to actually now pay for their fee. So of course I'll give him props for that. I'll give him props for what he's doing with women in the hospitals, with people who have been incarcerated for a crazy amount, of time. He is doing an immensely good job with that. So I'll give flowers where they do. It's the theatrics for me, people. It's the theatrics for me. Now we're gonna finish off with the last bit, which is now Peter Andre. And I came across this story that was posted on the Daily Mail, and like he was literally a one-hit wonder. We were wondering, where did Peter Andre disappear to? Now, it seems that Peter Andre suffered harrowing nervous breakdown sparked by casual sex and shirtless posing, which left him needing psychiatric help in his 90s pop star heyday. Now, he had a nervous breakdown at the height of his pop star fame in the 90s. The singer, now 50, sought psychiatric help at the age of 25 after he descended into a blur of nightclubs and groupies before spending 6 years in psychiatric units and on medication. 6 years. Now, while the mysterious girl hitmaker has insisted he never touched drugs during the hedonistic days of his youth, he admits he lost himself while he had a lot of casual sex. Reality star Peter said his shirtless posing and arrogance was all part of it as he sought out external validation and acceptance. He claims he still suffers with brain fog panic attacks to this day after his past poor mental health, while he developed agoraphobia, a fear of going out, and vertigo. Now, Peter Andre, who's now 50, had a nervous breakdown at the height of his pop fame and in the 90s, but he looks still good as always at 50 years old. He doesn't look a day past 35. Now, the singer sought psychiatric help at the age of 25 after he descended into a blur of nightclubs and groupies before spending 6 years in the psychiatric units and on medication. And he told the Times that it was an insecurity thing, trying to prove a point because of the years that you weren't accepted. He said, I don't like who I became when I was just going with girls and not caring. He goes on to say, I just went off on a tangent. After his breakdown, Peter returned to his family home in Australia before going into hiding in America. He insists he is a completely different person today, and is much more modest and calm, blaming his arrogance when he was younger on being just a self-defense mechanism. Peter's star rose again in 2004 when he appeared on ITV Jungle reality show I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, where he met his wife, Katie Price. The entertainer has had a successful show business career that has lasted more than 30 years after he signed a record deal at the age of 16. And he insists rather it's his niceness and amazing team who have helped him stay in the game for so long. All right. Peter Andre is still looking good as all heck in his, silver days. 50 years old. That's how old he is. That's how old we were when we were listening to that song. That was 90, around 95, 96. He has aged very quickly, but he's still looking good, good, good. All right, we're going to be going back into the music. Of course, we're going to be having Peter Andre up next into that request hour. We already have a request coming in. Thank you so much. Angel Okungu is over there on YouTube, and she says, good morning. Hey, I've lost that part for some reason. She says, good morning, Icon Radio. On that request hour, please play for me Kumama Papa, the drill remix. That song has been trending heavy, 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 heavy on social media, and it looks like it's one of the songs that will always be playing on people's reels for a very long time. So that's coming up for you next. Of course, we're going to also be talking about the Afro DJ Fest that's happening this Sunday, and Icon Radio is going to be front and center. More details on that coming up next. We'll also be having our guest of the day as we talk about the recent grant that they got from the British Council. Be sure to keep it here on Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug. phone. She can check in. It's a lovely night. Hey, Karibu Sana. Hi. How are you? Let's get you a seat. Just let me just bring this. Ila. I'm just seeing your message now. Okay. Mm. Oh, okay. Oh, you were in it. Oh, right. But we're at least on Google Maps now, so you can find us. Okay, good. All right. So I'll need to just move this a little bit with the seat to a point where we can see each other.
Okay.
So this is going to be a very chilled. We should do a very chilled, very just conversation.
Okay.
Just getting to know more about you and the work you guys are doing.
Okay.
And there are elements where you're able to also lead the conversation.
Okay.
If I might miss anything.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and this is request hour. So if you have any music you'd like to listen to, also you can determine the playlist. It's totally fine.
Oh wow.
Yes.
I leave that to you.
That's fine. But if you feel something hitting you just at any point, wait, just let me know. No problem. Yeah. I'm telling you, like, not a lot of people have those kind of opportunities, so you take advantage. No, I think you're doing socials, yeah? Oh, yes. Anything goes.
And my contribution to that would just be to keep it reggae. But you can mix it up. Yeah.
Reggae it is. Yeah. To talk about Aphrodite first. Then, yeah, let me see. You guys are doing the PR for the Upper DJ Fest? It's going to be happening at Sarit this Sunday. It's actually just a DJ fest. So we have Akina G Money, Viseme, we have some guys from SA DJ Bugs. Yeah, we have a whole bunch of guys coming in. And he's coming in as well. He's already in the country, so he's going to be there as well. He's called Camido. Yes. With Camidos. Yeah. Immediately I was like, yeah. But yes. So he's in the country right now. He came in yesterday. Yeah. So we're gonna be live on location at that event. Sunday. Yeah, the whole day. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. Sorry? I've sent you that Mama Papa song. That's on WhatsApp. Sorry? Yeah. Sorry, what I have is video, MP4 videos. Is that okay? Let me tell you what I have. Sorry? Oh, this request. Okay, so get a bit of Much as I love that song, we'll get back to it because it's request hour right here on the Breakfast Jam. I'm your girl, Myra Maloba, the Afro-Punk Queen. We are live on www.iconradio.co.ke. You are listening to Kumama Papa, the official drill remix by Odyssey Beats. Absolutely love it. Of course, they had to drill it up. Hey, drill just taking over everything. And you know that Kenyan drill is coming up next on the vault with myself, Jirongi, and Beatmaker and Mal G. So stand by for that. It's going to be an amazing, amazing show with amazing lineup of guests. Speaking of DJs, we're going to be having the Afrofest, which I'm going to be talking about later on today. Of course, we already have Camido, who we played earlier with Senorita. I always used to sing my own things. I used to say Mombasa, and I don't know if it's Kombasa or I don't know. I'm like, I'd sing my own things. I really need to look for the lyrics. But he's in town. Of course, he's already out and about gallivanting around Nairobi. And I hear he's gonna leave for a bit for Uganda and Tanzania and then come back to do the Afro DJ Fest. It's going to be a whole lineup of DJs, amazing, amazing DJs. Of course, a friend of the show and a friend of the station, DJ Seme, is going to be there. We also have from Kenya, DJ G Money. But I think it just goes with G Money. Joe Mfame, Pierre McKenna, and Pokoli. From South Africa, we're having DJ Bucks. Absolutely love his videos on the socials. We also have DJ Neptune, DJ Consequence, and DJ Dimple. I've already told you performing is Camido. Spyro will also be performing, and our MC for this weekend is Claudia. And Ditos Worldwide. Ditos is a plaid. Oh my god. When we watched him in Machakos, he was just laying it down on that stage. Like literally every time we were watching him on the stage, we were like, don't fall, please don't fall. Because he was so close to the edge and he was putting in all his energy. He was dancing with the dancers. He's absolutely a vibe to watch. So yes, Afro DJ Fest, you need to get your tickets. That is 2K at the regular tickets. VIP tickets 5K. So there's VIP table for 5 at 35K without drinks. And if you want with drinks, either champagne or some of that whiskey, it's at 50K, and you can get it all at M Tickets. All right, we have a very special guest in studio, and she goes by the name April. Karibu sana. Hi, glad to have you in studio. Of course, let me tell you, pictures can be deceiving. When I saw your pictures, I was like, okay, no, when you walked in, not your pictures, when you walked in, I looked at you and I was like, oh my God, you look, your height is, yes, I was just like, because I was expecting like this. So I was like, I was going to be like, hi, April. And then when you walked in, I was like, oh my God, you're shorter than what I thought. Sorry.
I get that.
You get that a lot? Yes, your frame works very well for you, but I'm excited to have you in studio. I was actually just looking up everything that you guys have been up to with the British Council, of course, and looking at your socials. You just embody art. To be very honest, I was so impressed. I was like, you actually with the work that you do, which we're going to be talking about in just a little bit, you actually do and embody what you guys have been putting out. And you had an exhibition just the other day, which we'll be looking into. But I'd like to say in your own words, who is April and what do you do?
April is an artist. I can now say that. It took me a couple of years to be comfortable to say that. But now I can say with my full chest.
Nice.
April Kamande is an artist.
Yes.
A painter by profession. I've lived many lives prior to me being comfortable to say I'm a professional painter.
Wow.
I'm glad you say that I embody art.
Yes.
I'd like to say I try to champion it as much as I can, whether it's through my immediate circles, my friends, my family, getting them on board and just supporting them.
Right. Now, just a little bit of a brief of where we're actually having our conversation with these, because you led 5 early career female visual artists who came together, challenging each other to develop their artistic skills and put together an exhibition under the Five Lenses Project at the mall in Westlands. Now, the British Council Culture Connects program is for um, Kenyan grantees who are collaborated with their UK partners in an initiative that promotes cultural exchange through art. Now, Five Lenses is a dynamic project in partnership with East Africa Arts, British Council Culture Connects program. And of course, you can check it out, I think, through the link in the British Council bio, right? Now, give us a little bit of insight into now Five Lenses.
Okay. Wow. So it's a bit of a mouthful, so I'll just put out a disclaimer. Just hang on with me.
All right.
I like to call it my little convoluted project, mostly because it has many facets or many players.
Right.
So Five Lenses is a collaborative project between, as you've mentioned, 5 early career artists. We had a photographer.
Yep.
First of all, 4 Kenyan artists and 1 UK-based artist. We had a photographer who was Adikini Kondo. We had a painter who was Blaine, who was also a muralist.
Okay.
We had a digital artist, Lina Tieno. We had a sculptor who's Elna Akware, as well as Ozioma Ehiesiene, who's from the UK.
Wow.
Who was our resident writer.
Okay.
So the premise of Five Lenses project was the goal was to develop the conceptual skills of early career artists. So Five Lenses was born out of my own journey to try and figure out what being a full-time artist would be.
Right.
A lot of the feedback I would receive from players in the industry or the sector was that you're technically good.
Okay.
But I'm like, what do you mean? But conceptually, you have a room to grow.
Right.
I did not understand what that meant, and because I'm self-taught.
Yeah.
Like a lot of artists that are, currently in the scene, we've not gone to school. We're just leaning on God-given talent. Right. And University of YouTube.
Right.
But how do you move from like all of us who can draw to the next level, where is now it's like, how do you make being a full-time artist a viable career choice? So how do I break from the mold? So that's what now I gain to understand, like your conceptual voice. So you can sing a song, for example. I use this as an example. If you're gifted as a musician, you can't do that for the rest of your life. That's not. I guess there are people who do that, but the longevity there is questionable, right? Yeah. So the same thing with us. We start with portraits. Oh, can you draw me? Yeah, I can. You copy celebrities or Instagram images. Right. Excuse me. But then now, how do I get myself to where people are actually buying my work? Right. Okay, that's also okay. There's always space for that. Yeah.
But there's a level you want to attain.
You want to grow. Right. Right. So that's what I understood as now, like, what's my conceptual voice outside of portraiture work. So Five Lenses was bringing not only a painter, not only a photographer, sculptor, a writer, a digital artist, who also now kind of are interested in exploring what their conceptual voice is, what their style is, what their signature is. Like you can tell, even if you are not told that's a Sauti Soul song, you can tell because of they've matured their style. Right. That kind of. So that's what Five Lenses was doing. So each of the artists were tasked to come up with a theme that they're interested in exploring, and then everyone would then produce a piece of artwork in their own discipline, responding to the theme. Okay. So we had 5 artists. Each of them proposed a theme. So those are 5 themes, and then those are 5 art forms. So that's why 5 lenses. So 5 points of view from 5 artists, right, different art forms.
Now, prior to pursuing now this full time, you held different roles in art management and marketing and project management. Now, these are quite crucial in what you do now. Do you still align with these in your artistic practice?
For sure. I feel because of my prior experiences, it makes me a better artist.
Right.
Or at least experience, no matter how unrelated it sounds,
Yes.
It makes you stronger for the unknown, right?
Yeah.
Because again, self-taught, you don't know, there's no playbook, there's no school. There are schools, but they're very few, right?
Right. But a complete manual.
Yeah, I didn't have that. So
Yeah.
tapping into my previous experiences as project manager or as a brand manager really helped me dig deep into like project management in terms of finding out a path where there's no path that
Right.
exists. You know what I mean? Having to relate with different stakeholders, leveraging on research skills, because now it's, like I said, Google University or YouTube, like trying to find out who do I need to talk to, who's in the scene.
Yeah.
Networking, which is, it's funny, I'm extremely introverted. I'm sure you could tell when I came in. I was trying to blend in with the world. I will be very quiet. Until I'm told open your mouth is when I'll
Very
do that.
different. Yes.
But because of my previous experience of working with different stakeholders, I've been able to kind of force myself out of my shell when I need to.
Right.
Even reaching out to the artists, getting them out of their own shell. All of them are introverts. My goodness.
Yes.
Getting them out of their shells as well.
You all exist in your heads a lot,
Let me
right?
tell you. God save us all. But yes, I definitely tap into my previous experience, and I think that made me better or prepared me better to kind of jump into the deep end.
Right. Before we go on the break, I gotta ask, first of all, not only are you introverted, but you're also a woman. I think every field is male dominated. Let's not even lie to ourselves. Every field is male dominated, but this is also a highly male dominated field. Like, how do you find your voice in that space?
I think for me, I've had to, because even of, again, I'm introvert, I'm not going to shout about my work. So I tend to channel all my energy into producing the best work I can produce. Let my work speak for itself.
Right.
Let my beats or my actions speak for themselves. Of course, that can also only go so far, because sometimes you need to shout. But also, and where it comes to the shouting, is also leveraging on your close circle.
Right.
Leveraging on your networks. Some of them kind of help you talk about your work.
Right.
Introduce you to people who can further your career. But I would say mastering your skill is the first thing. Because for me, what I've seen is, because even of my stature, my appearance, wase watani assume.
Right.
But when they come to see, maybe say my work, then they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now you can see their face change in a way. So I would say focus on your. What has helped me is focusing on my skill, and also leveraging my networks.
Right.
Because sometimes you need your cheerleaders, right, to kind of like amp you up. Because it's a lonely ass journey. So it's a lonely journey.
Yeah.
It's very isolating. But when you have a good network of people, friends, who can kind of be there to hold you up when things are big. That's very helpful. I found that very helpful.
love that. Your work does indeed speak for itself from what I've seen so far. I would like to find out how long the exhibition is, and then I think we'll get into that later on. But for now, we're going back into your requests. She had one request: keep it reggae, okay? So that's what we're going to do this morning. And of course, continue to take in your requests. Be sure to hit me up on +254 78838 0030. And if you do have any questions for April, be sure to hit us up on that number or in the YouTube comment section right there. All right, it is the Reggae Hour right here on the Breakfast Jam. Keep your requests coming in. Very relaxed.
Thank you. Very helpful.
Oh, speaking to the yeah.
Okay. Like here? Yes. Okay. Sawa. Thank you. Sawa. I have a request. Do you have any Costa drum music? Excellent. Um, yes, Manyo Pesa. Manyo Pesa. With Watenda Ubu. Yeah. Costa is also an artist, a visual artist, a painter as well.
Who's that?
Costa Ojwang.
Oh, and does music as well.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Costa Ojwang.
Let me look that up. No, that will do tomorrow.
writes primarily in the law.
Should have him on one of our shows.
You should.
Actually, guys who sing in their languages sounds so good. Like on, was it on Tuesday? Tuesday we were playing, who?
Uh-huh.
We're
I wrote.
playing Kwame and Gina. Beautiful music.
He's also done a collaboration with Wanjine as
Oh,
well.
nice. Oh.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but it's in his album 20.
Nice.
You should listen, and it's excellent.
Yeah, those are the contacts you need to get now.
Happy to share.
Yes, please. You'll get the number before she leaves, yeah?
Yeah.
I think those are people we want to capture this year.
Yes.
Doing a lot of their things in a lot of their ethnic language.
Exactly. It's so beautiful
Very, very
and
nice.
so different.
Yes.
I've watched just the clips on Instagram.
No, the person is everything you sent to me yesterday and then you can forget it. He's willing to come. Let's see if we can have him next week. I'll give him a call and see.
Yeah. He's known first as a friend, then now he's growing his music. I think now anajulikana more for his music. It depends on which scene you're in. Yeah. 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 He's one of the two top landscape painters.
So like now for John we're on for stage.
Yeah.
What?
True.
True. I don't know the two should be. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I highly recommend his album. It's a 17 track, all of them are good.
Nice.
I don't understand the law. I love it. Uh-huh. But yeah. And he's done a couple with Okelo Max as well. Yeah.
yes, it's only that my questions are here. Why are you fine? I didn't know you upgraded. I'm sorry. Okay. You know, I was waiting for that door stopper you had. Perfect. People are upgraded. Yeah, thank you so much. We just put it together, then send it. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. Oof, reggae so sweet this morning. That was Chronics with Skanking. Absolutely love the playlist coming in. And of course, your requests, keep them coming on our WhatsApp number. That's +254 788 380030. Speaking of reggae, yeah, Richie Spice is coming very, very soon. So, yes, April, get your Gideon boots ready, polish them because we're gonna be chatting down Babylon very soon with Richie Spice, and of course, Icon Radio is gonna be front and center. We're gonna be giving details on that later on in the month, and as the details come through. But yes, we do have um, an amazing artist. Would you call this up? What kind of artist would you call this up? I'm still trying to learn. There's visual artist. That's where I've come at. So. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So visual arts encaptures many categories.
Yeah.
So basically, this is art that you consume with your eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Consume with the eyes.
Right.
So painting is a form of visual art.
Aha.
Sculpture is a form of visual art.
Okay.
Photography is visual art. Digital art is visual art. I consider myself a painter.
Mm-hmm.
So I work primarily with oils on canvas.
Okay.
And I focus on figurative art,
Okay.
which is basically art paintings that focus on the human figure. So from portraiture, so the human form. And I use that to communicate.
Okay.
And explore ideas.
All right, that's Art 101. At least now I can talk about art in some aspect when I'm out there. Now, how many did you make it out of to be able to receive this grant from the British Council? Like, how many people did you have to beat?
Oh, that's a good question because I don't necessarily have the answer.
Right.
But I remember when it was announced, was it early last year? There were about like five or six, if I'm not wrong, Kenyan artists and artist collectives that were successful in the applications, but the grant facility was open across Pan Africa, so West Africa, Eastern Africa, and Southern Africa, through the British Council Culture Connects program.
Now, Five Lenses, when was the concept born, and when would you say it became a reality for you?
Five Lenses has been in the making for about 2 years. It was my response as I was trying to figure out, okay, if I quit my 9 to 5, now what would it look like as being a full-time artist? What am I going to paint? Because like I mentioned, I didn't think doing commissions was a very sustainable way of earning a living. So as I was trying to figure out what April Kamunde's visual language is, what does original April Kamunde artwork look like is when I kind of Five Lenses was born. Ideally, I can confidently say I'm not good at painting from my head. There are artists who are, and I truly respect them, but that is not a skill set I possess. I usually use a reference image, and then either when it's a commission, I replicate it or I manipulate it and make it my own. So I was like, okay, so if I was to produce a theme, if I was to produce work, I'd need reference images. But I'm also not a photographer, and I'm not trying to be one. I bought a good phone, so I can have like good reference images, but I realized that's not.
It's just not you.
It's not. I can't be everything.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I thought of collaborating with another early career photographer who's also looking to figure out what their language is or what their style is, or what their conceptual language is, right? And I figured, okay, maybe what we could do is pull our resources together. I have an idea of a theme that I'd like to explore. Maybe they also have something that they want to explore, right? So you've seen these photographers who produce art work as opposed to like editorial shoots or fashion shoots, but they produce work that can go up in galleries and stuff like that, or they can sell to consumers who can put them up in their homes and offices. So I figured, okay, what we could do is work together and challenge each other, kind of build like our own school, like, you know. So what in my head, how I was seeing it happen is we'd come together, pull our resources to do either a photo shoot, and then let's say, for example, if I was interested in the theme discovery, and they are interested in a theme growth, for example, exploring that through photography, what we would do is I would produce my painting responding to growth, and also produce a piece of artwork painting 4 pieces of artwork through photography and through painting. Then I thought, okay, wait, digital artists also use reference images as like a starting point. Some do. Either they manipulate the work, or they replicate it and change it, or they manipulate it through collage, where they cut different pieces and come up with a composition. Like, what would be cool if we bring in a digital artist? So you have like a digital art is considered like a modern art form, and you have the traditional painting and photography. So it would be a nice, interesting dialogue between like when all the works are produced. It would be good to see all this. Then, of course, I thought, wow, why not complicate my life a bit further and bring in a sculptor, right? And now this is now like OG traditional art. And this person is manipulating material with their hands, as opposed to, a photographer who uses a tool, which is a camera, and the digital artist who uses their pad. And then, as I was sharing this idea with, again, close circle of friends, my board of directors, if I could call them that, one of them who was my line manager at the time, she was like, that's very good, because you could, if you were to showcase all these pieces of artwork all at one place, everyone, you'd have multiple people, you'd have someone, or you'd have the audience consuming different art forms all in one go. But she's like, what would be even interesting? Because you know how sometimes, I don't know if you've ever attended an exhibition and you don't necessarily understand the work or the artwork. Sometimes it could be too abstract. Just like, what is this? She's like, for those, it would be interesting but then some exhibitions, what they have is called an exhibition text, which kind of supposed to guide you to consume whatever it is you're viewing. It would be it would be interesting if you would have a writer respond to the themes as well, so that when this Five Lenses is still hypothetical at this time. She's like, when all the works are displayed at once, if I don't understand the visual arts, but I understand the piece of writing or the piece of poetry, it can guide me understand or consume these other art forms. So that's how Five Lenses was born 2 years ago, but it only came into fruition late last year and this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the exhibition, is it still ongoing or is it over? And how was the experience for you getting together a British Council to be able to put this together and finally have it happen?
So the exhibition is actually, we concluded it. It ran in February and into early March. But the plan is to have it as an annual program where we would invite a new set of early career artists. Because what I would tell, or what we would tell the artists, at least the past cohort, is we hope that by the end of this experience, because it was a 6 to 8 month experience for them.
Yeah.
But we hope by the end of this experience, you'd have, I guess, not graduated, but like you're better off than where you started.
Right.
So now, hopefully, the experience would have opened additional doors for you. And so the next cycle is to have a fresh crop of early career artists who are also keen on participating in a program like this.
Yeah.
The British Council came in as I was formulating this idea. I realized, because initially I was supposed to be the painter.
Right.
Remember, it started with me trying to figure out what my work would look like outside of commissions. But I realized through the conversations I was having is, I need money. Because to pull in 5 artists who are minding their own business,
right,
trying to pay their own bills, sell their work, further their own practices, and then telling them, actually, come, let's work on this project for 5 months. I'm not guaranteeing you sales. I'm not, it didn't make sense.
Right.
So I figured, okay, let me put it on pause and look for funding options to kind of get it going. So last year, the British Council announced the Culture Connects program. They had different grant options.
Right.
I applied, or myself together with my collaborating partner, we put in an application for the research grant because we were also testing it out.
Right.
It's not been done before. It's just a thing that had been sitting in my head, and we also wanted to kind of not only focus on Nairobi but also focus on East Africa. So we researched and interviewed artists across Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and the UK. And we interviewed, all of them are also female artists, but across different levels in the artistic practice. So you have early career and more mature artists. And these are interviews that were housed by, under the platform The Art Cultured, which is run by my collaborating partner on Myra. So when we put in our application, we were excited to find that it was accepted. And we're like, yeah, okay, so this thing.
Right.
Now we really need to find artists who would be able to do this.
Sorry, quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The grants.
Yes.
You don't have to tell me.
How
much did it amount to?
£5,000
nice.
Initially, and then there was an additional £2,000 for the showcase, because we need the initial was for the research to find the artists, get their buy-in, support the production. So this is where the money came in to be like, here is some money to be able to produce your work.
Right.
Buy materials, also just like an honorarium for your time, right? Because we were laughing with some of the artists. I was just like, I'm not here to. This is not a conversation, an exposure conversation.
Right.
I had to back my words.
Right.
So then, putting an exhibition is it, because we also didn't just want to hang artwork on walls and be like, guys, come. We needed to support it in a way that was meaningful, and because we've not done this before and we don't have the experience, so we wanted it to be a bit special and a little bit more different from exhibitions that we've we visited ourselves. So we brought in a set designer. Her name is Sunshine Sitea. She's actually an art director for film production, film sets, TVC, commercials, and theater.
Right.
So what we did is, through Atsita and her team, we made the exhibition very immersive. So as you're going in, we cordoned off. First of all, it was held at the mall,
Yeah.
Westlands, the basement. What we did, rather than use a traditional four-walled gallery looking like space,
Yeah.
we used an old office. It still had its partitions, the glass wall partitions. I had to do a bit of work to convince my partners and even Sitea that this could work, because we wanted to use it. We wanted to bring, because art can be a bit, fine art, visual art can be a bit exclusionary, or you're like, okay, gallery zinakwanga wapi? Where do I go? Is there an entrance fee?
Yeah.
That. So we wanted to make it a bit more approachable and to bring the art where people are.
Right.
What we did with the spaces, we made them very immersive. Each theme had an overarching set design. So, for example, the first theme, which was proposed by Elna, who was a sculptor, was self-identity. We utilized, by the way, and the exhibition was curated by my collaborating partner Yvonne, who runs
Right.
Art Culture. The first room was self-identity, had like mirrors as the theme. So we had a giant three-way mirror sculpture. We had raining mirrors. So when you go in, you're even if you've not seen the art, you're just like, oh, okay.
Wow.
This okay. Then now you see the artwork, the pieces, and then you walk around. How we had set up the exhibition was like it was self-guided.
Yeah.
We had footsteps, so you had to start on one end and finish at the other. So it was a journey. It would not have been possible for sure without the British Council, the East Africa Arts Team, and the grant, because we wanted to do something special for the artists and for them to also feel like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
One of the biggest takeaways that I think will live with me was one of the artist's parents, her mom, Lynn Atieno, who was our digital artist. She came with her mom, and they went through the mirror room, which is the self-identity room, and then the next room the theme was solitude. So how we had set up solitude, we wanted our what do you call it? Our theme for the room was, the church cathedrals. There are these, I don't know what you call it, enclaves, where you have like little statues of saints, or if you're Catholic, the Way of the Cross. So we had each of the artwork displayed in an enclave of its own. But the mood changes immediately as you move from one room to another. And then when she made the transition, she was just like, oh, okay. Now her mom was just like, hey, you guys are serious? And I was just like, yes, we are. We're not just drawing cartoons.
Yeah.
So
changing perceptions.
Exactly.
And first of all, I love the fact that artists got paid because exposure near cameras. Okay. So let's be honest about it. I love the fact that the program did that. And of course, your life has changed. In one way or another. So how has it changed for you since winning the grant? And what did you learn from just being able to first just apply for the grant, get it, and then just evolve as an artist?
One thing, I really had to get out of my shell. I had been painting, in my studio, which is basically my spare bedroom.
Yeah.
I wake up, I go to the studio, but then now I had to be very out there, reach out to the artists. So I had to activate or remind myself my people skills.
Right.
Working through people. That was my hugest takeaway. if it was not for our circle of friends and community, even without this thing, even with the British Council money, this thing would not have worked.
Yeah.
I really am very grateful for my networks, for my community, our community, to make this thing happen. Because there are things you can plan as much as you want, but like we had to change the venue last minute because it just wasn't working. Working through, you know the phrase, your network is your net worth?
Right.
It was shouting. So I was very grateful for the support that we received to make this thing a reality. In terms of the artists, because one of my things was, the goals, my personal goals for this project was that they come out, I mentioned this, they come out better than they came in.
Right.
And that they see it's worth their while.
Right.
Right. So one of the things that was very important to me is that they felt valued, they felt appreciated, and they grew from the experience. I am also an early career artist, but it was important for me, even I might, for them to also feel a bit of growth.
Right.
So one of the things that at least I could say was successful outcomes of the project. The artists, yes, they got paid, but they also sold work.
Right.
We realized about 230,000 in sales.
Oh wow.
That went directly to the artists as
Amazing.
well. So in addition to their paying for their time and their honorariums, they also got to sell their work.
Love it.
There's the element of exposure as well. We tracked their following from the minute we put out the first post, not the beginning of the project, but we put out the first post saying, oh, there's a thing, come to the mall. And, so across the board, all 5 artists grew their following by 100, an average of 100 followers.
Nice.
Give or take 7, so between 93 and 107.
Nice.
Each of them, there are additional opportunities as a result of the visibility they got from the program. There are about 3 other additional group exhibitions that they were invited to participate in.
Nice. That's a lot. A lot has come out of this.
Yeah, we did a thing.
Love it.
We did a thing.
Now I see how passionate you are about it, and I love just how you are able to, because now when you're able to explain it in that way, it makes us excited and say, okay, when's the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's next for April Kamande, and where can people find if they wanted to reach out to you?
So April Kamande is on Instagram and at April_Kamande. What's next is I have gone back to hibernate in the studio because the first few months of the year was a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm just focusing on painting again. My own practice.
Right.
I'm hoping to participate in a couple of art fairs towards the end of the year. The artists are the 5 artists are also busy back in studio. Everyone just had to kind of take a break after 5 lenses.
Right.
But people are back in studio, participating in a lot of art fairs as well. So we have Blaine, who was Lynn is back working on interesting commissions through her digital art. Adikini, who was our photographer, she's actually a multidisciplinary artist, but under 5 lenses she was participating as a photographer.
Okay.
She does music production, she does graphic design, she's a writer as well, but she's gone back to do a course on graphic design, which is taking up a considerable amount of her time. Ozioma Ehesiene, who was our resident writer from the UK, is actually a theatre actress. So she's back on stage putting out a couple of productions. So that's exciting. And Elna is also, digging her heels deep back into her practice. She moved into her own studio at Kuona, at Artist Collective.
Yeah.
So, that's what's going on with Art Cultured. Uh, the team has been working on interesting features of our let's say our Kenyan artist master, like the artists who paved the way to make it possible for the Imperials and the owners to be who they are. They did a couple of features on our Kenyan masters. They're currently taking a break to kind of also restock and then go ahead on the next new project that they're looking at. But they will be sharing a lot of educational posts. So, like you who would be interested in learning more about the visual arts scene, I would highly recommend the Art Cultured as an easy plug to kind of learn how to navigate the scene, what's going on, what's hot.
Nice. Love it. First of all, I didn't know we have a flourishing art scene like that. And the other thing is that for all artists out there, art does pay. It does pay. So, of course, if you've opened up your doors, people can reach out to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing, and we can't wait to see what you're going to be up to next, what exhibition you're going to be putting up next. And of course, we're so glad to have had you here in studio. Thank you so much for coming through.
It's such a pleasure, Myra.
Yes.
I really thank you for being a fantastic host.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Naskia. Anyway, all right. We've unfortunately come to the end of our show. Remember to check out Afro DJ Fest on social platforms for all the DJs who are going to be participating, and of course our own as well, as we put out information on that. And we'll be having the vault up next. Already hearing chatter on the other side. That means the boys are already in studio. So of course everybody's wrapped up and ready to go. All right, we're finishing up with the last bit of music this hour, and then we get straight into the vault. Keep it right here on Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.